Welcome back. So tonight, the D-Levy hangs in the balance, the so-called Doomsday levy, as has been christened, particularly by those in opposition. So the government has suspended the implementation of that particular 1 Ghana cedi per litre as they monitor the situation in the Middle East. By the way, the Middle East produces 1/3 of our oil. Let's talk to Duncan Amoah, Chamber for Petroleum Consumers. He's been advocating for a different approach to managing the sector. He's unhappy with the mounting debts. He doesn't like the fact that we keep introducing these levies, and he thinks the solution lies elsewhere. Duncan, thanks for joining us. I was with you during the tariff debate, and you were so frustrated with our politicians. Now, let's start off with the suspension of the implementation. As COPEC, does that make you happy that at least the government has not gone ahead to implement the levy yet? They're waiting to see what happens in the Middle East?
Bernard, what I can say, I just had Doomsday here, forgive me. And so if you realize my
wow.
Screen is gone off, Doomsday has just happened to me at the office.
Doomsday has found you.
Yeah, it just found me. It just found me as you were introducing the subject matter. Today is one of the days ECG nationwide decided to pursue their revenues by going out there to check on people that are consuming power. We cannot continue to have a country where just a few people pay for power, and because of the numbers that do not pay, we come back to the same few people who are already paying so much for power and say pay much more because we are not getting it. Our sector, you cannot continue on this trajectory where we would want to continue to have the factors of energy generation or production, and then transmission, supply, and then revenue generation, and say that government should be responsible for all of that. I do think that we should get to a point where even the IPPs, they should be able to set some tariffs that, of course, PURC can equally monitor, and then allow other private sector participating entities also to get in there and be sure to be able to get full cost recovery for whatever input same or getting it to various homes and for that matter industries also. So we should be moving away from a total government control or dominance of a power sector, such that we continue. I am certain that just as we did for petroleum sector, where in July, 2015, we decided that it was no longer feasible to continue with this subsidy program, that government will say that whatever the differentials are, it would pay back to the suppliers. If we are able to get to a point where we are able to deregulate the power sector completely, Bernard, I do see us getting to maybe some 5 years from now where there's no longer being created. But until we get to the complete deregulation of the power sector, got quite a lot to do. The bit to do is to ensure that you don't continue to, as it were, import 1,000 containers without a track and tracing, in place. It means that you did not even need them, but you were just procuring them because probably somebody stood to benefit. You don't continue to have a situation that, and then will run bills of millions of Ghana cedis. Then they tell you the meter has gotten, bad or gone bad. and then we cannibalize the meters. We ask them to pay a flat fee somewhere, and then a debt would accrue because power has been consumed and wasn't paid for. You don't continue to leave ECG to behave as though there's too much money for them to do all the bad things that they shouldn't do. And then when there's a debt, we come back to petroleum. Bernard, in 2015, December 21st, we went to Parliament to ask Ghanaians for Energy Sector Levies Act. The argument then was that there was a debt of some 2.2 billion we needed to clear. So Ghanaians should help us to clear that debt. That debt included the BDC legacy debt. It also included the power sector debts. Unfortunately, 10 years down the line, from 2015 up to now, we've contributed almost 29 billion as Ghanaians. My light just came, Bernard. Thankfully, ECG has probably.
Okay, so on that basis, let me ask: when the minister was justifying this levy, he said they didn't want to move the burden to the power side because it would affect the automatic adjustment formula, and that the increase in tariff needed to deal with the debts plus fuel would amount to over 50%. So is it your view that the power side should take more of the blame than the fuel side in this attempt to get the sector to be more efficient?
You see, Bernard, the fuel side, as we speak, does not leave a single pesewa as a subsidy or, a debt overhang. It is completely deregulated. It is full cost recovery. So whatever you bring, you sell at full cost recovery plus your markup. And so the power sector is not an albatross on the neck of government. The petroleum sector. The power sector, however, we've continued to probably pamper that establishment, the power sector. So the debts are created. We do not ask how they came about. We do not seek to stop how they were created. We do not seek to make any effort whatsoever to say that probably from the start of July, whatever monies that ECG collects, the cash waterfall mechanism must kick in, use that money to pay for the power producers. If there are excesses that we've not been able to pay for, let us know so that if we need to go back to PURC to justify an upward adjustment in tariff, we can go back and do full cost recovery. But Bernard, even if you did full cost recovery and you still have transmission losses of over 30%, you are simply telling the Ghanaian that every 100 kilowatts you produce, you cannot be able to account for at least 30% of that 100 kilowatts, and that's 30 kilowatts. And that would leave some debt for you. And I am sure that, look, the government means well from where I sit. It wants to be able to handle the energy sector debt head on. I don't think that they mean bad to want to come to petrol to say that, let me take more taxes. But you cannot mean well and allow the factors that exist. If within a short period you are ramping up debts in billions, Bernard, and you are expecting 500 million from the new tax that you are collecting, it means that the entire year you will do a maximum 6 billion Ghana cedis, or about 600 million USD. Meanwhile, you are dealing with debts that run into billions. And we are not even sure that that debt, we are stopping the bleeding or the hemorrhaging. So we are back to the same squares. ESLA came in 2015, 2016, we started collecting. The excuse was that we needed to clear the debt. 9 years after collecting 29 billion, it has shown that the money solution doesn't exactly work until you do the hard fixes. And that is what we've been asking government to pay attention to all this while. Coming to collect 1 cedi, yes, we probably would say, okay, it's too bad, but we'll pay. But Bernard, beyond collecting the money, then what else? If we do not see the structural fixes, if we don't see ECG being stopped from operating 82 different accounts, Bernard, you and I wonder what exactly. I don't know if it is one Ghanaian, one bank account, or one account for ECG. I went off again, Bernard. I don't know how soon.
No, we can hear you. We can hear you. Keep going. Keep going.
Okay. So all that I'm saying, in essence, is that you will need to do the heavy lifting whilst looking at a way to get the financing also done. Don't let us put money ahead of the solutions that we will require in fixing the power sector. If we put the money ahead, as we did with the energy sector levies issue, we would simply come back another 10 years from now and ask Ghanaians to pay more taxes because we couldn't fix, what we need to fix. I entrust the current energy minister to do way better because he is that individual that probably has that wealth of experience. He's been a deputy power minister, subsequently became the power minister. He's been a ranking member of parliament on Mines and Energy Committee, Finance, and all of that. He should have seen these challenges and must, hit the ground running. I am quite certain that if he avails the mind completely towards, doing the heavier lifting, we will not put the money solution ahead of the structural fixes that we need to do, Bernard.
All right, finally.
The structural fixes for us any day, Bernard.
Where do you see the domestic situation? So this week, we're told that fuel prices are coming down, and in fact, did come down this week. In the morning, Bloomberg said that there was uncertainty in the global oil prices because of the conflict. But this evening, before we came on air, we are now being told that the prices fell as the conflict has not disrupted crude production, and Iran has privately expressed willingness to de-escalate hostilities with Israel. So what should petroleum consumers expect in the next month? Are you able to put all the equations together and tell us that from now till, say, July, prices will go down, will remain stable, or start going up? Are you able to say?
Bernard, what we are able to say now is that it's a function of demand and supply. The tensions in the Middle East effectively will cut out some 25% of the world supply. Don't forget, Iran is number 8 on the global index of countries that produce the most oil. You also have other countries within the Middle East that would depend on the Strait of Hormuz. Once you have those tensions and bombs are flying all over the place, it will not even be safe for cargo to be moving because you don't know when they will get trapped with any of these bombs. So 25% gets knocked off completely. Within just a matter of 24 hours, we saw crude prices go up by as much as $12. Crude goes up. It takes about 5 days to reflect on the prices of your petrol, your diesel, your kerosene, because those are, like, as you would probably call them, the byproducts of your crude when you process or refine them. That 5 days would probably enter into the new window that we have gotten into. Mind you, before Israel and Iran, prices had declined. The city was still stable. And that is the effect we are seeing on, the second window for June. So it's gone down. But the effect of Iran-Israel will probably hit all of us the first window in July because, like I said, crude clearly has gone up. So if you are buying crude to go and refine or process, and the cost of the base product is gone up, you would naturally pass that on with the finished product. So the first window, July, it is likely we would witness a little bit of an upward adjustment, give or take. I don't know how long Iran will sustain hostilities or Israel will sustain hostilities, but assuming they end today, Bernard, the full effect of what has been done the past few days would probably hit all of us the first window, July, though we cannot say for now how much that would be. But I think that is where the government's decision to suspend the tax is in order, because you cannot even tell what is coming tomorrow. Crude prices, as we speak this evening, are still rising.
Well, I thought they were falling because I was checking Bloomberg today before I came on air, and they were saying that prices have started easing. What indication do you get from this current administration about bust and Tor? Because in the morning when I spoke to your colleague, Nana Amoah, he said that the two critical institutions I'm looking for a word, to stabilize our energy sector on the fuel side is to get bust to do its work and to get Tor to do its work. There's a new administration. You've been in meetings with them. Do you get any indication that bust and Tor are being positioned to store bulk finished product and also to refine, in the case of Tor, our petroleum produced here in Ghana?
Bernard, this is a very, interesting question. We have said time without number that Ghana cannot continue to be on the fence, cannot continue to, just be price takers. Whatever happens, we'll pass it on to our people. In 1992-93, when we decided to set up BUST, the idea was to have a semblance of an Oklahoma cushioning in Ghana, where in America they are able to store crude for even up to 40 years. And so anytime there's pressure on their systems, then the government can come out to say, look, we are releasing this amount of product into the system to be able to balance or even out the pressures that you have as a result of geopolitical tensions. We do have BUST that ordinarily should be able to store strategic fuel for you and I, so that when prices have declined to, say, $500, $550 a metric from the $800 that it used to be at the start of the year, and it declines, you should see BUST with some reserve margin or strategic margin go out there to the market and be able to buy at $550, because you are not assured that throughout the year you would get, the price per metric ton at $550. So it calls for planning, strategic planning, or getting some reserve margin that allows them to go out there when prices come down and store products. That way, Bernard, if you wake up today and Israel, Iran decides that they will not even stop and prices continue to go up, what then happens is that BUST can step in for at least 2 months without allowing a single liter to be imported. And if they got it for 500 and prices jump to 700, it should be a lot easier without quantum physics to determine that at 550, if I sold it even for 600, I will still be cheaper on the market than importing directly due to the geopolitical, pressures. Unfortunately, we are not looking at BUST in that way. We are allowing BUST to behave as though it were a BDC. Meanwhile, BUST margin is still being collected from you and I when we buy petrol. So we are keeping BUST running, but the safety net that BUST should have provided for you and I, we are not encouraging them to do that. They are rather behaving as though they are a private BDC that would need to make profit. So in recent times, Bernard, the cliche for BUST has been, we've made so much profit. But fuel prices are going up. And for you as a buffer, if you are making profit, at whose expense are you making the profit? Again, you have refining space in Ghana that we should have taken advantage of since the 1960s, when Ghana's founding president decided that the country Ghana would at some point strike, crude in commercial quantities.
So Duncan, I just want to, so I'm saying that, do you see from this government's push here that they are willing to get either institution to work? I understand where you are going and explain the background, but I just want to know clearly, from what you've seen in the past 5 to 6 months, do you have any hope that Tor will do its work? I want a quick answer.
Bernard, people have been assigned fantastic, people, brilliant people. I don't get the sense that the government is repositioning these institutions from where I sit.
Yet, okay.
People have a job to do, but if government indeed wanted to even retool Tor, the tax that you and I are discussing today, you should have seen a component of it, go into revamp Tor, right?
Okay.
Because
you don't see,
but we are not saying
you don't see. Yeah, I just wanted to get that from you. Thank you, Duncan. I'll take a short break and end with Theo Champon. We're still on the point of view tonight, trying to make sense of the suspension of the energy sector shortfall and debt repayment levy. Stay with us.